right, man. One thing I want to talk about this. I don't even know if I said this before, but one thing I like that Trajan Langdon did, since everybody get mad because I mispronounce his name. Like I said, y'all don't do enough supporting on this channel for me to get people's name right. I'm gonna keep saying that all the time. I just like talk about Detroit sports, to be honest. And but one thing I like that he did, and I'm gonna do a Piston preview pretty soon. I don't even know when the season started. But I'm gonna go to one of their first games. This one a weekday. It's probably gonna be tough. But I definitely want to go to one of the weekend games. One thing I like what him and JB Bickerstaff did, they ain't like move nobody. Like, he literally is doing a smart thing by having an evaluation period. And who knows how long this evaluation period can last. It could be a year, it could be a half a season, it could be a full season. You know, he's literally, you know, having an evaluation period. You know, and I think that's the smartest thing that he did. He didn't get in here and try to just make his mark and trade guys and all that type of stuff. He evaluated them, probably broke down some film, looked at the team, kind of seen some things that he pieced around them, and then, you know, going from there, you know, he's just gonna see where it goes. You know, he tried to compliment the guys, and then, you know, because obviously, like I said, they could have moved for Karl-Anthony Towns. They had enough resources to trade for Karl-Anthony Towns. They traded Julius Randle was a throw-in. Divincenko was the real, you know, he was the real, you know, he was the real piece. But the Pistons could have thrown Ivy. They could have thrown Duran. They could have thrown, I know somebody, well, I guess it was a Knick fan came in here. They could have threw a Shurian. You know, they could have threw a number of guys in. Sasser is a really good piece. You know, the Pistons got talent. When everybody was saying last year they don't have talent, I'm like, man, they got plenty of talent. It's just that how can they get this talent to mesh and grow? That's the number one thing. How can they get this talent to mesh and grow? And they haven't been able to get it to mesh and connect. And that's been a problem. And if they can get it to mesh and connect, then I think we may be talking about something major happening in Detroit. But he didn't come in here and just try to make his mark and try to make some trades and try to make something happen. I think what they understand is this thing is going to take some time. This is going to be like the TV show, step by step, D by D. It's going to be a step-by-step process. So I think a lot of people have to, have to realize that it's going to be a step-by-step. Oh, you know what? I can move up. It's going to be a step-by-step process. It's going to be a step-by-step process. And I think when people realize, like how people realize that, like you can't just come in and just move stuff, get a whole bunch of pieces and throw them together. Like, it takes a process, man. And I think, you know, I don't think Weaver was bad at identifying the talent. He just didn't have the proper pieces and the proper coaches in place to really get the most out of the talent. Everybody that came in just seemed like they wanted to do it that way, the way they wanted to envision doing it, rather than what the pieces they had to do it with. So, you know, and honestly, there was beef between the general manager, front office. You know, Trajan got to pick his own head coach, and I think that was monumental for him compared to Troy Weaver. But, you know, even they threw out Monty Williams. There was rumors that Trajan was willing to work with Monty Williams, and they was like, hell no. And they seen it. He just alienated a lot of people in the organization. Troy Weaver, Jaden Ivey. And there's probably a number of other people that just didn't like him. You hear that everywhere in it goes. One or two guys, and there's going to always be like that don't like him. You know, Jay Crowder didn't have nothing high to say about him. It was a few guys. So, and a lot of the Phoenix Sun players wasn't crying that he left neither. So maybe he just got one of those personalities. But, you know, Trajan didn't come in and do nothing. He didn't do nothing drastic. Everything was singles. And maybe he might hit a double with Tobias Harris, but everything was just right fit pieces, temporary, kind of. It's an evaluation period. You know, it's an evaluation period. That's it. It's an evaluation period. He said, okay, I'm gonna try to give y'all some pieces to help y'all, you know, to really get the most out of y'all, see where this thing go. You know, he could have came in, traded for Karl Anthony Towns, you know, came in, took these pieces, consolidated these pieces, you know, said Ron is gonna be our guy, we're gonna keep Cade and Ron and trade everybody else and rebuild. He could have easily did that. Like I said, he could easily had Karl Anthony Towns. They could have easily went to go just trade for Brandon Ingram. They could have went to go trade for Zach LaVine. They could have did a lot of drastic things. They could have threw a lineup, just throwing hypothetical out there with Zach LaVine, Ingram, Cat. They could have threw some shit out there like that. You know, and you know, it probably wouldn't have worked. So you got a lot of young guys and they still learning and they still believe. They morale ain't shot. And to the point of it, I mean, they got a bunch of young guys with a bunch of money. But they still working. And they still dedicated, they still believe through 3 or 4 head coaches, through 3 head coaches, a couple GMs, they still believe. They still believe. So I think him coming in, meeting with the guys, seeing where they was at, seeing where they was at, you know, physically and mentally, and, you know, probably action around the building, how they worked and, you know, how they did things, you know, how they carried themselves and how they conducted themselves. And I think he was like, okay, I'm not going to move none of these guys. I'm going to look at them for a season, a half season to a season, and we're going to go from there. And like I said before, that's the smart thing to do. Don't come in and just clean everything up. Come on, they still paying Monty some money. They just extended Troy. They paying Troy money. So, you know, even though the owner, you know, was impatient with those guys to a certain extent, I think he did the right thing. But I also think that the smart thing to do was, you know, I think the smart thing to do was just, you got time, come in, allow these young fellas to work under your program. And I honestly think this going, just looking at them, I think this may work. I ain't saying they're going to be 45, 50, or them UPN Pistons that won 50-some games this year. I ain't saying that, but I think they're going to be a lot better. They see the Tigers did their thing, the Lions doing their thing. The Wings ended last year pretty hot. So I think they, like, Michigan won a national championship. I think, hey, they're like, we want some of that. And the city is different whenever they all win. It's different when the Wings win. It's different when the Tigers win. It's different when the Lions start winning. And one of the different things about it is the seasons. That's why they're different. You know, it might be spring, it might be winter, it might be, you know, fall classic, you know, Major League Baseball. So it's different. When the Pistons win, it's the beginning of the summer. So it's a whole totally different vibe. People, when they in the playoffs, deep in the playoffs, and they winning championships, people having block parties, watch parties. It's a different feeling. So, but I like what he came in and what he didn't do, and some of the minor things he did do. He seems a little bit more calculated. But hey, thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. And the subscribe button is the bell icon button. Hit all notifications, increase your chance, get notifications. We go live and drop video financially. Want to support the channel, Cash App, $. So yeah, thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. Appreciate the love, support. Let me know what you girls and guys think in the comment section. Detroit Pistons Talk playlist. Peace.